In this video, we're going to go over legal separation in Alabama. My name is Sam Bone. I'm a Gadsden, Alabama divorce and legal separation lawyer. So what is the difference between a legal separation and a divorce? So divorce is a process to end a marriage. During a divorce, the parties will divide property, assign custody and child support, determine other financial support during the marriage. Legal separation instead keeps the marriage intact. However, the court will decide what are the duties and responsibilities for each other while still married, such as do you still pay health insurance, what to do with property while still married, whether to pay spousal support, what to do with custody, what to do with child support, all those things while still married. So you're not terminating the um, marriage. Also, you can't remarry from a legal separation. You're married, so you can't remarry at that time. If you want to remarry, you've got to get a divorce. So what are some reasons why you would do a legal separation instead of a divorce? Some of the things I've seen before is a possibility of reconciliation. The parties at this time want some time apart, or they feel like they're teetering on the edge of divorce but want to have some more clarity on what they would do um, with their things while they're worried about that. Another one is the religious or social stigma of being divorced. We've had cases before where their church would actually kick them out of their church if they were divorced, but if they are legally separated, therefore still married, they stay married. Another one would be you plan on living apart, want to stay married, but you need to go ahead and address custody and child support. So, for instance, someone might be moving to another place in Alabama for work for a while, and it's got everybody angry and pissed off, but you still want to see if you can work it out. So you go ahead and separate an agreement on while you're married what to get done. Or let's say a lot of times we'll have people where one of the parties has trouble getting health insurance, is disabled, while the other person has good health insurance. And so they'll agree to do a legal separation so they can stay on that health insurance rather than having to pay for COBRA or maybe even paying for alimony in a divorce. So what needs to be in a legal separation? So these are the requirements for a legal separation. You've got to have jurisdictional requirements, which means both parties are over 18, both parties resident in the state of Alabama, last 6 months. Marriage is irretrievable broken or complete incompatibility of temperament between the parties. And if there are children, child support has to be ordered and or considered. So this is basically the same requirements for a divorce. So here we're going through the code. Okay, the code of Alabama is going to determine what is going on. So we just went over 32.4a. Now we're going to 32.4b. 40, excuse me. Does a legal separation terminate the marriage? A legal separation is a court determination of the rights and responsibilities of a husband and wife arising out of the marital relationship. A decree of legal separation does not terminate the marital status of the parties. So it just defines what your responsibilities of the marriage are. You're not married. You're still married. When can a legal separation be modified? The terms of a legal separation can be modified in two ways. By written consent of both parties, so if y'all both agree to modify, or court order upon a proof of material change of circumstances. So let's say that during a legal separation, y'all say that the house is to be given to Betty, and then after a couple years, Betty gets disabled, and their other house, which has that something set up for someone with a disability, The court could then change the houses because the court has, so for instance, like a shower or something made for someone in a wheelchair. They could change who lives in what house based upon proof of material change of circumstances. Okay. Um, you can't change it if you guys agree that it can't be changed upon a divorce. And so that's the written consent part. Can you still get divorced if you get a legal separation? Yes. Legal separation does not bar either party from later getting a divorce. Can a court modify a property settlement? Yes. We went over that a court can modify a property settlement in a legal separation. And that's in this case here. Again, unless you put in the legal separation, it can't be modified. What about your terms of the legal separation? Does that go into the divorce? Only if agreed to by the parties. Otherwise, the court can consider but is not bound by the provisions of the legal separation related to alimony or property settlement upon final dissolution of the marriage. So, for instance, if y'all agree that to pay $2,000 a month in a legal separation, is the court bound by that at the divorce? No. The court can consider it and have an idea of, oh, okay, that might be what these parties, the amount of money that makes sense, but is not bound by it. So, what is the standard for custody in a divorce? Best interest of the children. It's the same as if the legal separation never took place. After the divorce, you then have to hit a different standard. But if we agree to custody here in the legal separation, it's still best interest of the child at the in the divorce. Same for child support. You're not bound by the what is in the legal separation. Whatever the child support guidelines call for and or what the judge chooses to do is what it is. You don't have to meet material change of circumstances standard. Can you make the separation of assets permanent? Yes. Excuse me. Yes, you can upon written consent by both parties. You can make the earnings or accumulations, retirement benefits, and things such as that post legal separation separate upon written consent by both parties. Or you can convey real estate without the signature consent of the other spouse upon written consent by both parties. What about, can a court grant a legal separation instead of a divorce? They can't if no one asks for a legal separation, but if someone asks for a legal separation and the other asks for a divorce, it's then in the court's court. The court gets to decide whether to grant the legal separation or a divorce.